Hello and welcome back to Justice for Jean Alesi Round 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yes, we have started our replay of the 1995 Formula 1 World Championship because I've never won the World Championship on this game and I've had a copy for over 20 years. So the AI are whacked up to their hardest setting and I'm going for it. We started last time at Brazil in round 1. If you've not seen it yet, check out, there is a link in the description below and there's probably one flying out above my head at this very moment. Check it out. It was a really good race. Overtakes right up to the final lap. And also I explain in there why I've picked Mr. Jean Alesi as my guy to try and take to World Championship glory. And we continue today, round 2, the Argentinian Grand Prix of 1995. My name's Ash. This is the outside line. Is it Argentinian or Argentine? So let's have a look at the championship situation to begin with. So Damon Hill took pole, led the race, I think pretty much from lights to flag. Big contrast from his real life 1995 start. He leads the championship. Schumacher slipped from second to finish behind his teammate. We had an incredible recovery drive, qualified 14th and managed to take 4th on the final lap, just snatching it from David Coulthard. Now, because both Williams and Benetton drivers got in the points, they take early leads in the Constructors' Championship. Williams just ahead of Benetton. We are third, and McLaren pick up the final point. So, on to round 2.
Here we are in Buenos Aires, Argentina, for round 2 of the World Championship.
Okie dokie, here we go. Oh, now, that looks like wet weather, or at least what passes for wet weather on this game. It's essentially, you know, everything's a bit darker and there is a mist. So I'll put variable weather on at the start when we set this up. Now, because the game was released in 96, by variable I don't think that means it's going to change in a single session. So if it starts rain, it's going to stay rain all the way through. Sorry, I'm clearly not focusing. However, I don't know how much it stretches in terms of like race weekends, so I don't know if that means we can have potentially wet practice, wet qualifying, dry race, or whether it is just going to be a case of you'll have dry weekends, wet weekends. The point being, we'll see how dynamic the weather is. It's not going to change in this session. We'll see if we have it change over a race weekend, or we might be in for our first wet race of the season. Now, Argentinian Grand Prix, or Argentine Grand Prix, still haven't looked that up, has appeared on the Formula 1 calendar throughout its history.
Hang on! He's into the barriers!
In the dry, when you get on the grass, that can send you around, but take as much curb as you want, seems fine. In the wet, don't touch the grass, don't touch the curbs. Hell, the white lines are even a bit iffy. Just basically keep it on the grey stuff, because everything else is like ice. Also, I don't know the track. Anyway, before that detour, I was saying, the Argentine Grand Prix has been held sporadically throughout the history of Formula 1. First time was 1953, and then that ran until 1960. Then it had another little stint, another revival. I think that ran from 72 to 81. And then the 1995 running was the first time Formula 1 had been to Argentina since then. The race was then ran for 3 more seasons, and the last race was held in 1998. Now, so I don't waste any of my 12 qualifying laps, I tinkered with my setup in practice, something I didn't do last time. Messed about with the downforce and bumped it up because it's wet weather. I thought more downforce made more sense. And also there's quite a few twisty sections on this track and I thought it would help me there. Since we haven't raced here since 1998, let's go for a lap. So, main straight, first corner, a right-hander, try and brake somewhere just before that curb on the left. And then it twists round, another little turn to the right, and then hard left. Like I say,
track twists back on itself quite a lot. And that's the end of Sector 1. Then a quick left-right before we go into a long sweeping 180-degree right-hander. You can really try and get on the throttle as early as possible, but you don't want to run too wide, touch the grass out there, and you will go round. Now we're onto the back straight, and then this sort of gentle right-hander then tightens into another 180-degree right-hander. And we twist back into the infield now, up the hill. Then we come into two left-handers. The second one you kind of want to brake and turn in a little later than you feel like you should. And then we come up to Argentina's answer to the corkscrew. So braking point here is really hard to pick in the wet. Down through the chicane, pit entrance just coming up on the right-hand side. And then we go into the final right-hander, which once again you kind of want to brake a little bit later than it feels like you should, I think. Went way too early there, as you saw. And that's a lap. And after that, I felt like that was enough. I would do all my improvements in qualifying. Now, as always, there are links in the description below for if you want to skip ahead to qualifying or the race. But first, if we do end up with wet weather for the race itself, that actually adds a bit of additional pressure to perform, as the real Jean Alesi was something of a rainmaster. While it's up for debate what could have and what should have been of Alesi's time in F1, what isn't up for debate is his ability to drive in the wet. Maybe it's no surprise then that his earliest experiences in motorsports centred around rally driving, taking part in amateur rallying and hill climb events, before eventually taking up karting age 16 and focusing on circuit racing from there. But clearly those early experiences of car control on changeable surfaces stayed with him. Here are Jean Alesi's 3 best wet weather drives. Alesi's finish at the '92 Spanish Grand Prix would be his and the team's joint best result of the season. The F92A was not one of the classic Ferraris, to say the least. After qualifying 8th, the race got underway on a damp track, and Alesi would get an amazing start, making it to 3rd by the first corner. Full disclosure, I've rewatched the start of this race several times, and it actually looks like Alesi and quite a few others on the grid slightly jump the start. Just before the lights go green, one of the support vehicles at the back flashes its lights twice, and I wonder if this just triggers some of them to go early. Not sure, but anyway, Alesi gets away like a rocket, nobody's penalised, and as a result, I'm classing it as a legit start, perfectly legal, FIA confirmed suck it. On lap 7, another Rainmaster in the form of Michael Schumacher overtook Alesi, with Gerhard Berger in the McLaren trying to do the same shortly after, only to tip Alesi round and drop him to 6th. At around the halfway point of the race, with the rain now in full flow and the track incredibly wet, Alesi came in for fresh tyres, and immediately started his charge up the field. He cruised past Berger and took 14 seconds out of the gap to Senna in just 2 laps. When Senna spun out, Alesi inherited 3rd, and would finish just 2 seconds behind Schumacher. Now that's a recovery drive. The first of 2 races we'll actually be replaying later in our season. The European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring was almost Alesi's 2nd career win, if it wasn't for a certain Michael Schumacher. Starting from 6th on another damp track, Alesi started on dry tyres with increased downforce to his Ferrari, and mastered the patchy conditions to get himself up to 4th. When the leaders stopped to pit, Alesi carried on and opened out a lead that at one point reached 45 seconds. On lap 34, the top 2, Alesi and Schumacher, would pit. The key difference was Alesi was supposed to go to the end, while Schumacher would stop again. So Alesi had to manage his tyres and fuel, but Schumacher could push, and the track was drying out. In the end, Schumacher would catch and pass Alesi 2 laps from the end, and win the race by 2.6 seconds. It's notable that Alesi lost a lot of time to uncooperative backmarkers, in one instance losing 5 seconds, after having to take to the grass at the Vidal chicane. That said, it was also a stellar charge from Schumacher that would bring him to the brink of his 2nd title. Probably Alesi's most famous wet weather drive. After qualifying 2nd, it was another damp track at the start of the race from morning rain, damp enough that everyone would start the race on wet tyres. This time, Alesi would get penalised for a jump start and serve a 10-second stop-go penalty on lap 3. He would then return to the pits on lap 7 for slick tyres as the track was drying. Note, drying, certainly not dry. Nonetheless, he was instantly 5 seconds faster than the rest of the field, and despite spinning while trying to overtake Pedro Lamy, kind of looked like Lamy didn't see Alesi on the outside and accidentally run him out of road, Alesi still made it from 15th to 2nd by lap 10, and he was closing in on Schumacher at the front. However, we were denied a fight for the lead when Alesi's drive shaft failed on lap 25. Now it's interesting that in all three of those stories where Alesi drove well, Schumacher drove better. In all those examples, I think it's fair to say that Schumacher's Benetton was better than Alesi's Ferrari, but is it just indicative of their respective levels? Did Alesi really reach his potential, or did his machinery let him down? That's a debate for another day.
Okay, qualifying now. In real life, the sessions in 1995 were both wet. Coulthard got his first pole position from Hill, and then Schumacher. Jean Alesi qualified 6th. So once again, that's our target. Let's see if this is also going to be a wet session. It is. Okay, so we've got 12 laps. No time limit, but 12 laps. Definitely need to do better in qualifying though. Considering the race itself, once I kind of eliminated the silly mistakes, we're doing cannot touch the white lines at all. That's going to be a problem corner, I can see. Oh my god, we were quicker, but to be fair, I think... What I was about to say anyway is, I think usually the times get quicker throughout the session, or at least there's 1 or 2 improvements, so I don't think that will be the pole time. I don't think we were actually 4/10 up. Oh, well, Taki Inoue's just got pole, so there's definitely going to be an improvement. It's just so easy to try and clip that curb on the inside, which in the dry in this game I think would be totally fine. Not in the wet. Okay. 7 seconds down, Jesus. This is not a good start. If I do go across the curbs, I just need to slow right down so I don't spin. Wow. I'm 9 seconds away and that's got me 14th, which is where we qualified in Brazil. I said this last time out, the field spread's pretty big in 1995. Turns out it's even bigger in the wet. That's mad.
Now, while the field spread was bigger compared to today's standards, I do admit some of that is also down to the game itself as well, and it seems exaggerated in wet conditions. Now, as you can see, getting a little bit tidier but not perfect with the laps, and we're going to cross the line for another improvement, up into the top 10, but still 7.5 seconds away.
That was even worse. Oh, that's binned a lap. That's binned it. Ooh. Sorry, guys. I'm so bad. I've lost count again of how many laps I've done and got left. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay. I find it hard enough to pick breaking points on this game as it is. But now, it's kind of foggy on a track, I don't know. Oh, too much. Cannot go off in the race because I will just lose all the time. My thumbs hurt already. That was good though. That little section was quite nicely done. That was better. Exit was a bit, but okay. How have we done? Was that an improvement? It is. 8th place. What was it? Okay, so here is the starting grid for the Argentine Grand Prix. David Coulthard on pole, from Olivier Panis in second. Okay, we have diverted from reality in a big way. Eddie Irvine is third. Carl Venliger is fourth. Taki Inoue is fifth. Ukio Katayama is sixth. Roberto Moreno seventh. Jean Alesi in eighth. Damon Hill's in ninth and Michael Schumacher is in 10th. Our teammate Gerhard Berger lines up in 11th alongside Mika Hakkinen. What has just happened? Taki Inoue is 5th. Okay, so we have just missed out on qualifying, but considering some of the cars we've got ahead, oh, you know what? A good chance to attack and get into the points. And if I want to meet the objective for this race, I'm going to have to, because in the race, Jean Alesi finished second. He had a bit of luck, I must say. From the start, he span and essentially caused a big accident. The race was red flagged. He jumped in the spare car, and then on the restart, steered clear of everything, came home second behind Damon Hill. So second's the target. I'm not confident of the target, but we may be given a lifeline by the fact that there will be some slower cars ahead. Okay. Get ready for spray. It's a decent start from us. Oh, nearly got sideswiped, but we're up to 6th. Let's just take it nice and slow into turn 1. Let's not pick up any damage, anything stupid. Carl Venliger's ahead. We're going to get round Venliger. We're going to get round, I assume, Taki Inoue. Oh my word. Right. Very good start, up to 3rd. Eddie Irvine now ahead of us. I am not. I'll tell you what, they are taking it quite gently. And we're alongside Eddie Irvine. Or past Eddie Irvine, and we're up. Oh, what second? Don't touch the curb. Well, you're congratulating yourself. Okay, just David Coulthard ahead. Oh my word. What's going on? Oh, the spray's awful. Right. It's not crashing into him. David Coulthard, the guy we passed on the last lap to take 4th, we have overtaken on the first lap of the next round to lead for the first time as Jean Alesi. We are ahead. And actually, I think this is probably worse because you saw how inconsistent I was in qualifying. So I just need to actually take it really slow because I could lose more time faffing about on the grass from a silly mistake. So I just need to take it quite gentle. If anything, it wouldn't be a bad thing if David stays with me. Tell you what, Rainmaster at the minute. So that's what it is after 2 laps. Schumacher is up to 6th. He's had a great start, considering he was, what, 11th on the grid? .2 seconds is the gap. Oh, touched the curb. Oh dear. You see, getting too comfortable could be a problem. It's just not. We're okay. Schumacher is charging through though. Panis has dropped to 6th. Schumacher is up to 5th. Coulthard is at least. He's kind of out on his own now, ahead of Irvine. How in Similar conditions. Can the fastest lap in the race be 8-ish seconds slower than the qualifying time? I know qualifying's usually quicker, but not by that much. Oh, Christ. Oh my god, no, come on. Ooh. Schumacher's charging through. In fact, he's right up behind Irvine. Schumacher is surely going to get into third. And then it's going to be for him to hunt down Coulthard. Hill, still nowhere to be seen. The current championship leader. I feel like we have benefited from maybe a quirk of the game being from 1996. Because I don't care which way you square it, there is no real explanation for David Coulthard being able to set 1 minute 23s in qualifying. Which is... oh, Christ, traffic, this is an issue. Which is what... sorry, I'll come back to that thought, bear with me. Oh, Minardi. As I mentioned last time, there's no rules and flags on this game, and the one you definitely feel on occasion is the lack of blue flags. Well, that gives everyone a sporting chance to try and catch up, I guess. Oh, right, just move past the Simtech there. Now, as I was saying, I think we've just benefited here a little bit from, you know, the game being old, because there is no way you can justify, in similar conditions, Coulthard going from setting 123s to being slower than our qualifying time of like 131s. Just doesn't make sense at all that they would be that much slower on race day. I'm all for the fact that they'll, you know, take it easy so they don't make mistakes like I have been doing, but there's cautious and there's cautious. This is insane. But the positives are, we are not at least going to make Alesi's win record worse. We are going to make sure he comes out of this season with the one win that he gets. But hopefully there's a few more to follow on the way. Oh, 44. Oh my god. Sorry, I think that was probably more me than him. I'm just trying to... I predict them just doing some weird moves, and they don't do them, so I kind of almost dodge something that doesn't need to be dodged. Here we go. So yeah, Coulthard from Schumacher. Wendlinger still in the points. Irvine's dropping back. Hill, though, the championship leader, it has at least clawed himself into the points as well. If he gets himself up to 4th, we will be level on points with the exact same results, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. For now, the issue for me is traffic, because I don't want to damage my car. I can lose my wing on this game, which means I would lose all the downforce. I'd have to go in the pits. And I know I'm ahead by a long way, but I don't fancy that kind of risk. There's no need to panic. We've clearly got the run of them. So let's just take it nice and calm, nice and gentle. Although this guy's being a bit of a melt, if I'm honest. Just get out of the way. Okay. A little bit of clear air again, that's fine. And Schumacher is past Coulthard. Venliger still in 4th, and I'd be happy for him to stay there, because that means... Actually, does that mean we're in the lead? So where did Schumacher finish? Schumacher finished...
Now, as I'm doing mental maths to work out where I'm going to end up in the championship, unbeknownst to me, my camera is about to hit its record limit and cut out just as I cross the line, missing my victory. Typical. Now, thinking about the sudden change in pace, the only rational explanation I can think of is because I've upped my downforce, it slows my 1 lap pace down, but maybe ups my race pace. Other than that, all I can think of it just being the game. It's 1996, it just do be like that sometimes. But let's not undermine the glorious moment that is Jean Alesi picking up his first career win on our alternate reality.
My camera typically just stopped recording as I crossed the line. I did something like this though, you should have seen, it was great. That entire race weekend, from qualifying to the end of the race, just seems like a fever dream. What has just happened? So these are the results. We win by 36 seconds from Michael Schumacher. Jumi has finished 2nd, brilliant drive of his own, to get from, 11th, 10th, 11th he started. Finishes ahead of Coulthard, who slips from pole to 3rd. Carl Venliger hangs on in the points for an incredible 4th place. Eddie Irvine is 5th for Jordan. And Hill manages to claw himself a World Championship point. Herbert just misses out. Panis, who started 2nd, has dropped to 8th. Gerhard Berger 9th. And Heinz Harald Frentzen qualified 25th. I have no words for you other than grazie ragazzi. Gran macchina. Grazie ragazzi. So where does that leave the World Championship? Let's have a look. Hello. Top of the table, 13 points to Damon Hill's 11. Michael Schumacher is 3rd on 10. Johnny Herbert doesn't score and is now level with David Coulthard. Carl Venliger in the points along with Eddie Irvine. Mika Hakkinen still has his 1 point from Interlagos. I'm really chuffed. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. 0. Don't care. Absolutely buzzing, mate. Right, in terms of the constructors, well, Williams are still leading. Again, both their drivers were in the points for the 2nd race in a row. We are currently carrying Ferrari. Gerhard Berger has yet to make an appearance in the points, so we are 3rd. Sauber go 4th, Jordan in 5th, McLaren in 6th. Scenes, guys. Let's find out what happens next time as we go to Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix for round 3. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. Love to hear your comments about your championship fights on this game. Who did you play as? Any fond memories? Did anything like that happen when you played the game? Drop us a like if you enjoyed the video, and maybe even a cheeky subscribe if you want to see how it all turns out, because at the minute it's going great, but who knows when the track dries out. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Cheers.